Welcome to the Startup Grind.
Seen entrepreneurs, say from 5 or 6 years ago, that what have entrepreneurs learned in the last 5 or 6 years?
So 5, 6 years ago, you had the first generation of consumer internet companies. So we're looking at 2003, 2004, and it's basically the very beginning of, hey, we think that the internet as a platform is actually completely legit. And at that time, you had to be a bit societal to actually launch yourself into a consumer internet play, because it was still the time at which all these consumer, like web 1.0 companies had died or were dying or had finished dying, and VCs were still sort of not interested in funding those companies at all. So you were up for a very, very, very challenging environment in terms of talking to potential investors. Now, the web as a platform is completely legit, and you have amazing distribution opportunities between Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and the iOS and Android operating systems that give you access to hundreds and hundreds of millions of users. And so how you sort of take advantage of that is really the number one core skill set that you have, distribution, and then design, which is how you can actually please your users and get them to love your product so much that they rave about it, and get you new users that way. So those are the two sort of major changes: design and distribution.
And you've talked about that recently, that that entrepreneurs should focus on simplicity in design versus technical specs or performance. Can you talk a little bit about that? Why is that so important in the companies that you see or invest in?
I don't think that technology is actually no longer important. Is that marketing and design ended up being sort of as important as technology in a lot of those consumer internet opportunities which we focus on, to be honest. And so where we would actually spend a lot of time looking into the back-end design and how things are built, when we're due diligencing an opportunity maybe 4 years ago, now we're spending more time around flows and marketing and distribution and customer acquisition strategy. And if ever people don't have that, I wouldn't say nailed, because at the early stage it's difficult to have it nailed, but don't have a good sense as to how they're going to go about it, that's a big issue for us.
What are you seeing right now? Are you seeing there's been a lot of talk of that, just there's all these companies that were funded at the angel level. They're now coming in for a Series A. They're not able to get that funding. Are you seeing that with your companies, that you're having or not you specifically, but just companies in general, that is this a real trend that's happening, that companies that raised angel round are now struggling to raise a Series A because they maybe shouldn't have deserved as an angel round or some other reason?
Well, so there was sort of something which made my good friend Dave McClure angry over the weekend, which means that he tweeted a lot with a lot of expletives. He owned tech meme for like a couple of hours. So
I thought that was just his life, isn't it? Just angry? Is it one angry thing after
it's
another?
not Angry Birds, it's Angry McClure. And so he pointed rightly that there's a lot of companies that have been seed funded that actually don't need to raise a Series A per se to survive, because they manage to get to cash flow break even, make money, and therefore they're completely free of any investor obligation. The thing which I pointed to myself is, it is true that some companies actually manage to break even after their $500,000 or $1 million seed financing, and that's awesome, because once you break even and you make money, then you're completely free of